Hello and welcome to the Black Tower. I'm your host, your guide, your brother, the Sorcerer Armanasul. I want to say hello to all my sorcerers, sorceresses, my brothers, my sisters, my friends, viewers. Hey, all right. So I've been going over the Urilia text just recently. Today I wanted to further that with another video. It's important to understand the Simon Necronomicon, to understand the context in which it's used, to understand what it represents, so forth and so on. Well, that having been said, let us get on with this. In the Urilia text, you're coming face to face with forces and powers of the subconscious, deep within the self. Now, with this in mind, we need to go back to the Magan text to get a context of what we are actually doing in Ganzir. And in this, we need to go back to the battle of the Elder Gods versus the Ancients. Now, in this battle, Marduk Kingu, son of Enki, has bestowed 50 powers. Now, these 50 powers, if you think about it, it is symbolic. Marduk's right to rule, and being the number 50, the 50 powers. This is all symbolic of Enlil, whose number is 50. Now, Enlil gave what was known as Enlilship, or the right of rule. Hence where Marduk got his right to rule. Okay? Now, I won't go into great detail here, but that's just to give you an idea of where this comes from. Now, in that battle, Marduk defeats the abominations, the hordes of Tiamat, and of Tiamat herself. Well, it also says that in the creation myth of where man came from, that the body of the cosmos of creation was the body of Tiamat made, and from the breath of the elder gods, another wink, nod, slant in Enlil's direction, because Enlil is over the winds and over the breath, did he make man, and out of the blood of Kingu. Now, what's important to understand here is that it was a war, okay? Now, imagine, if you will, Marduk is the commander of the powers and mights of the elder gods. Kingu, commander of the armies of the abominations and of Tiamat, of the ancient ones. Now, what's so special about this? You got two commanders going head to head. Now, in the ancient days, you have to understand this now. Now, in the ancient days, a defeat was when the armies had been defeated and then the commander alone was left. And then they would sever the head of the commander, and the commander's head was carried around showing their victory over it. Now, maybe you can follow along with what I'm saying here. So Marduk defeated the abominations, the hordes. Okay? Remove the head of Kingu to show his rule, his reign over having defeated this. This, later on in Christianity, would be seen as Cain and Abel. You know, Cain spilling the blood of his brother Abel. Well, this is older than that, and this is where it first started. But in this, you have to think of warfare. Warfare is where this all comes into play. Now, I'm not trying to get too carried away or too out there, but I want you to understand that this is where certain things come from, because it is not enough just to tell you how to do something, but you have to understand the reasons behind why you do it, because this is conscious working of an unconscious nature, or a subconscious nature. You are learning through consciousness to redesign the subconscious so that the subconscious runs naturally on its own without you having to watch over it. This is how you do it. Now, and in this, we're going to use Marduk and Kingu to explain this, okay? So Marduk represents order, okay? And Kingu represents chaos. Now, in this, order defeated chaos. How can we put that to good use? As sorcerers, how can we employ this? Well, that's awesome. Have you you have a base nature, so forth and so on, you know. Well, in this sense, think of it this way. Inside each and every man and woman, chaos. And if left unchecked, uncontrolled, it can destroy and tear up one's life. Well, that's, as sorcerers, not what we wish to do. As sorcerers, we wish to tap into that through use of the formula given in the Urilia text to tap into those powers of the ancient ones through the blood of Kingu, which which is in our veins. Now, the really neat thing here is that we are not choosing sides. We're not choosing Marduk, nor are we choosing Kingu. We are choosing to be our own champions. Okay, Christians got their Christ, great, super sweet, but we're going to be our own saviors, and this is how we become our own saviors. This will be how we become our own champions. Okay, so in this example, we are going to use Marduk to represent order, Kingu to represent chaos. Through control of chaos and giving it order, do we, the sorcerers, are able to create change and to create things that we wish or we desire. And through this, we can learn to incorporate both halves, masculine, feminine, creative, destructive natures, and forces and powers, force and form, so forth and so on. You know, all the many dualities, duads out there. Gives a whole new idea of the Tuat, the halls of double truth, and the double wand, of which Peric and Ferric are symbolic of, which I won't go into that today, but for right now, we're going to work on it in this way. Okay. Marduk had defeated Kingu symbolically, representing rulership over the lower. Only through employing the methods by which the enemy used did he defeat Tiamat and her hordes. Did you hear what it said? So if you would think of it this way, being all about order and Marduk ruling over order and Kingu ruling over chaos, you would think that with all that force and venom and power, the chaos should have won. How did order win? But because Marduk chose to use the ancient secrets, the techniques of warfare, of utterly, without relent, attack, 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 defeat your enemy, give no quarter, give no space. So Marduk went in just raging like chaos to destroy chaos. But he gave it order. Okay? Through the seven planetary gods, through the Dingir, if you will. Okay? And so we want to employ the same method. So all of our magics, all of our workings, all of our rituals, from here on out with Urilia, are going to be founded in chaos. But we are going to use what we have previously learned with the elder gods, the order, the planetary order. How these 7 great powers rule everything from every hour of the day to every day of the week. Super. We're going to use that. We're going to use that order, and we're going to tap into this ancient power that normally would just be like a raging flood or flames or whatever, and we're going to harness them. We're going to control them. Okay? Now, how do we do that? Well, we have to understand, first off, what they represent. Second off, we have to learn how to tap into it, which I've gave the formula for how to tap into the blood of Kingu. Once you've tapped into that, and you've tapped into that power, it lies there. And then you're going to give it order, which is direction, aka through your spells or your rites, okay? This is order. Otherwise, it's just thoughts and feelings and energy just running rampant. But to give the chaos order, we have to tap into that ancient energy, that ancient power, and then we have to do rites and rituals with it, spells with it, so forth and so on. We're consciously directing the flow of force. This is what I'm speaking of. And in this sense, we are greater than Marduk or Kingu. Now, this is not a head trip because it's not an egotistical thing. It is a magical act in which we are doing. Okay? And the balance of these things is what we endeavor to perfect within ourselves, within our world, and within the world around us. Now, within our world, I refer to our magical constructed world, where we are the crowned king upon the throne. Okay? Now, all of this is not to be seen as literal, but symbolic. Now, there's nothing wrong with looking at it, there was really a battle that happened, blah, blah, blah. Okay, super sweet. But in a practical manner, that does us no good if we don't know how to apply it. And to apply these myths and these legends, we have to look at it from a practical point of view. How can we take this literal war, recognize its symbolism, and apply it in a practical manner to where it's useful. This is where it separates the wheat from the chaff. This is where the sorcerer is born, and this gnosis, and it's in between. And it is in this sense that I am giving this theory or this belief, this practice that I have concerning how Marduk may be a being, yes, but we are to mimic Marduk in the sense that we give order to things, to our lives, to ourselves, to our inner and outer worlds. And we are to be likened unto Kingu, who earned his place. I don't know if you know this, but there is no way that somebody is given the right to rule over an army if they are not capable of knowing what their army is capable of doing and where best to place them. And in this sense, you, the priest, the sorcerer, should be the exact same way. Know what forces to use, when to use them, and how to best use them. And in this sense, you become a commander. Okay? Now, it's a lot more advanced than all that, but that's the simple of it. That's the hitty-ditty of it. That's the low key. That's where we learn how to harness it. Okay? So we're going to tap into the power of Kingu. We're going to recognize the internal flame, that unquenchable fire, the raging seas, if you will. And we're going to then turn our gaze to mighty Marduk, who through Enlil was granted Enlilship, right to rule. And because of the covenants that we have agreed, that we have worked with the elder gods, and that we have bound ourselves to, we are also bound to a greater secret, a power that is ours, if we but claim it. This is the difference between thinking something and believing it. This is where you have to do the work yourself. This is where you have to realize, are you who and what you say you are, or are you just a pretender to the throne? And to the throne here does not mean over all the world and that they'll bow and grovel at your feet and fear you and do what you say. No. You need to be the commander, the crowned king, the ruler of yourself, first and foremost. The greatest form of control is self-control. Because as you unlock the powers, and as you unleash these forces through your rulership into your world, into yourself, the universe has no option but to mimic the rule that you have placed within yourself. And then the world around you changes in accord with your newfound will, your newfound decree, your newfound rulership. And this is the key of all magics. Okay? And I apologize that most of my videos have gotten long, especially Urilia one. I will try to keep them shorter. But at the same time, I want to give substance. And it is in that spirit that I wish each and every one of you peace and blessings. May the God smile upon you. And may you smile upon your own self.